that my voice has had a little more time to rest, we're going to pick up where we left off and try to get this other ending. Okay, so it wasn't that he had touched you, though that hadn't been pleasant. You could have gotten over it soon enough. It was more that he hadn't felt natural. That running through his veins and underneath his skin was something foreign. Energy you could barely see the edges of and were at a loss completely to explain. He felt like a threat. In any case, you weren't too excited about going out into those woods again. You'd had enough of feeling on edge today. You could always go through town and get home instead of taking the path. It took a little longer, and you were more likely to have to suffer through obligatory small talk with a classmate passing by, but you wouldn't have to feel that overwhelming sense of being watched. Then again, maybe you'd see Wither out there. You'd have to walk through a populated area when you get home, or to get home, and it wasn't uncommon to see college kids out and about, especially ones with too much time on their hands, as that seemed to be the case. I don't know what sort of college she's going to, but I thought it was like a common thing for people in college to have too much time on their hands. If anything, it was the opposite, between working and school and all that. Neither option felt ideal. There was no point in staying around campus any longer. You just wanted to be home already. Okay, we've got another choice. Let's save in case we end up, choosing the wrong option and meeting an untimely death. Well, I think the obvious thing is to go through town. You really, really didn't want to walk through those woods again today. Staying in public felt like the safer option after your interaction this morning anyhow. If you did somehow end up running into Wither, you'd be in a well-lit, populated area. You had a bad feeling about being caught with him alone. That felt well worth the extra 15 minutes it tacked onto your walk home. Maybe you were being a little paranoid about someone who'd ultimately just had a hard time taking no for an answer. But something in your gut didn't trust him. The memory of that strange alien feeling of his cold skin against yours lingered in the back of your mind. It crept over you like some horrible invading force, rooting deep into your nervous system, a blanketing mossy after echo that spread through the crook of your elbow to the base of your spine. You couldn't feel that way again. You couldn't shake the feeling that the way it swept over you would consume you whole. Well into the morning, the local downtown area had picked up traffic by the time you gathered yourself and got up the courage to make your way down. Like any pompous, gentrified college town, kitschy little shops lined the busy streets. From organic grocery stores to minimalist candle boutiques, the appearance of prosperity changed hands and trickled down to nothing. Nothing thrived here but resentment. You never felt completely comfortable in densely populated areas. There was too much noise, too much unbearable pressure of being, in a way that was palatable enough to warrant taking space. Today, however, the throngs of students, tourists, and busy locals gave you some peace of mind. Every passerby was witness, a quiet observer that, instead of stoking the spark of anxiety in your chest, stood as assuring reminders that there would never be a moment before you reached your block of being truly alone. Despite the sunshine and the bustle, you couldn't shake the crawling, pinprick fear arising from the back of your neck. Less intense than it had been this morning, sure, but behind every turn was the same encompassing certainty that you were being watched. Okay, So even though we chose the route through town, she still feels like he's watching her. Your breath came fast and shallow, head down and neck on a constant swivel. You tried to moderate your pace, still the frantic racing of your heart. There wasn't much possibility someone would actually follow you home, was there? A flash of green in your periphery snaps at your attention, and you follow the autonomic surge of adrenaline as it pulls your gaze across the busy central square. Okay. He looks really unhinged right now. Oh my god, you see his eyes? No, 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 no. What was he doing here? Okay, this is not good music. This is like bad ending music. There's no mistaking it for coincidence. He was looking right at you. That gaze made the rest of the world seem to fall away, caught you fast, and left you feeling sick and immobile. Your thoughts came to a screeching halt, blood thundering in your ears. You wanted to deny what you saw, sever your instinct clean, and return to a world where you felt safe again. Under his watchful stare, you realize with a start that you can't quite remember when that was. Had you only met today? This was a familiar fear, broken in and molded around the edges of your life. It fit snugly in your throat. Had it been him watching you from the trees? How long had the stranger been making a home on the margins of your life? How much had he seen you? Known you, before he let himself be known today? And what the fuck happened to your classes? For both of them to be cancelled when he did? Snapping to your senses, you forced your heavy limbs to move. It couldn't matter. Bone deep, all you knew was that you needed to get away. You tear your eyes away from his and duck behind a gaggle of rowdy students as they make their way across the street, intent on losing yourself in the shuffle. You scramble for options as you dodge corners and make yourself an unassuming body in the crowd. Something told you that a visit to the local police station would yield less than fruitful results. Still though, you gotta try. I mean, if you think he's stalking you, yeah. What were you supposed to say? Someone on your campus gave you a bad feeling, and you saw them again when you went into town? That just because you'd been a little on edge, there was reason to believe you were in danger? No, that you think he's stalking you, girl. You were having a hard time even believing yourself about that big of a stretch. What choice did you even have? Your street lay blocks away. Maybe you'd be alone, but at least at home you'd have familiarity. Walls, lights, a door that locks, a kitchen knife if things got dicey. You're not sure whether or not you felt genuine relief as you reached your door, winded from having broken into a sprint the last block. You hadn't seen Wither since you left him in the square. I'm not sure whether we can trust this or not. Like, I'm scared we're gonna open our door and he's gonna be there waiting for us. Somehow that did little to comfort you as you slammed the door shut behind you with trembling fingers and slid the deadbolt into place. The alarm bells in your head began to fade to quiet dread as you slump against the floor, eyes drifting seemingly at random before they landed on the dirty French press you'd left on the counter in your rush to leave this morning. Oh god, this music! Hysteria sunk its claws into you, and you heaved out a great shuddering breath. You couldn't pinpoint as closer to a laugh or a sob. When the last remaining shreds of your sympathetic nervous system ground to a quiet halt, you picked yourself up off the floor and tucked a chair neatly under the doorknob, effectively barricading yourself in for the time being. You'd worry about leaving in the morning. For now, you'd rather concentrate on getting yourself through the night. Paranoid and unsure, but no less determined to make it through until morning before some alternative plan could be put in place, you settle down at the kitchen table and fix your eyes on the door. Okay, so I guess she's just chilling here? Watching the door? Fuck, what time is it? You blink awake, groggy and stiff-necked from having fallen asleep in your chair, only to be met with confusion when the only thing that greets you is a suffocating expanse of black. Apparently you'd been worn down enough to fall asleep without even remembering to turn the lights on. It had still been pretty light out when you'd constructed your little watch party of one, but whatever daylight you'd had left had long since bled away into night without you noticing it passing. Well, you weren't dead. That was a notable positive from what the intensity of the terror you'd experienced earlier would have led you to believe was the likely course of the evening. Yawning and disoriented, you resolved to make your way to the bedroom and lock the internal door behind you before returning to sleep. more out of a self-soothing overabundance of caution than genuine tactile advantage. You blindly feel your way across the kitchen, skimming your hand along the wall for guidance and support as you attempt to let rope muscle memory escort your exhausted body to bed. What was that? The sound of breaking glass echoed just from down the hall. It sounded like it came from the living room. Terror, swift and certain, washed over you in what seemed to be an instant. Exhaustion fell away, and suddenly you felt keenly awake and aware. It was turned up to see what was going on, and you left your phone in the other room. There was very little way you could see yourself finding it without making enough noise to alert an intruder of your whereabouts. You mapped out your floor plan, while rising in the back of your throat, as anxiety came with the nauseating clarity that without being able to see what was going on, you'd have no way of knowing which direction to defend yourself from, or which direction to run. You were going to have to turn on a light and check it out for yourself. Heart hammering, mouth dry, you made your way to the living room on unsteady feet, feeling for the edge of the light switch with a silent plea held tight between your teeth. Oh no! Oh fuck. 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 What the hell was that? There you are, my beautiful begonia. We didn't get to finish our conversation earlier. He looks batshit crazy. Frozen in place, you watched as Wither's long branching limbs warped and appeared to grow, reaching through your living room. Okay, we're gonna save here. Thick budding tendrils spilled over the windowsill and began a tangled march across the floor. Okay, he's coming for us. Fuck. You felt trapped, held firmly in place by the chemical inability to accept what was happening to you. Even before those vines knotted around your ankles, leaving you bound and helpless, as this monstrous developing thing crept in through your living room window. Pulling himself to his full, frightening height, Wither stood, body a mess of darker skin and branching pathways. Monstrous, webbed through with mosses and emerging leaves, studded here and there with delicate networks of little pale mushrooms, shelf-like wood ears protruding from the ridges of what looked like ribs. Only that face remained in recognizable form, that damned stare that felt like every haunting moment you had been alone and afraid recently, paranoia creeping into your mind on little cat feet. His was the prying gaze of someone from whom there could be no... Sorry, let me read that again. His was the prying gaze of someone from whom there could be kept no secrets, which dissected your privacy and your freedom, leaving absolutely nowhere to hide. Don't fret, honeysuckle. I'm here to take you home. I'm good, though. I'm fine. I'm home. I'm okay. Okay, so yeah, that was the bad end. Does that mean the other end that we got was not the bad end? You know? I mean, because both of those endings seemed pretty bad. Just saying, like, both of them seemed pretty bad. Okay. I was hoping there would be a gallery, but it doesn't look like it. Well, that is the game. This actually is one of the more popular games that, from what I'm seeing right now, submitted for the Yandere Game Jam. I wanted to play this first when the jam ended. I think the jam ended on February 28th, but my computer was having an issue with downloading it, so I waited, and here we are. It was an interesting one. I do like how they incorporated a lot of poetry and biology into the plot, but I do wish that it had been longer, you know? Like, she runs into him once in the coffee shop, and they go for a walk, and that's the story. And we're led to believe that he's been watching her for a while, but I do wish there had been a couple more interactions between the two of them outside of that. But yeah, anyway, let me know what you guys think. Once again, the The developer's name is, let me pull it up here. Boy in a Jar. I actually read it right this time. I butchered it royally in the first video, for anyone who didn't see. But yeah, if you want to go ahead and check him out, I think this is the only game that he has. Yeah, this is the only game that he currently has out. But it is really good, especially for his first game. So, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I will see you next time.
What have you been doing all this time, huh? Last time I saw you, you had your head buried in her underwear drawer, creep.
Oh my god. Okay, that escalated quickly.